Welcome back. It's the end of 2024, so today I'm going to be ranking my favourite roller coasters just like last year. However, unlike last year, where I ranked all my roller coasters from worst to best, this year I'm going to be ranking my top 30 favourite roller coasters. This is because this year I went on 59 new roller coasters and now have a credit count of 105. So if I ranked all 105 of my roller coasters, I'd be here forever. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the video. Starting off the list, we have Heidi the Ride. I wasn't expecting much just because it's a family wooden coaster, but the amount of airtime and pace it carried through the whole layout was absolutely incredible. Number 29 is Space Mountain at Disneyland Paris. I only managed to ride it once, but it was very good the time that I rode. It's just a really cool ride experience with all the music, with all the theming, and being in the dark the whole time is just really cool. Number 28 is Express Platform 13 at Wallaby Holland. This may be higher on my list than other people's lists, but that's because I got front row. The roller coaster itself is quite rough, but the queue line is absolutely amazing. It's basically a whole scare maze in itself, and it really scared me the first time I went through it. For number 27, we're staying in the same park, and it's Lost Gravity at Wallaby Holland. The theming in the queue line is amazing, and the forces on the drop are incredible. It feels like a mini Hyperia. It does have some good airtime, but I think it's mostly about the mix of negative and positive G-forces. Moving on to number 26, we have Avengers Flight Force at Disneyland Paris. I believe this has the same layout as Express Platform 13, but the ride experience on this is much better. The way they launch you off as if you're in a Marvel movie is really fun, and I love how it's in the dark so it has an element of surprise. Number 25 is Sick at Flamingo Land. This is a really good roller coaster. You have a good loop, you have a good cobra roll, you have good 2 corkscrews, but then you get to the barrel rolls. The barrel rolls hurt your legs a lot. Even if you hold on as tight as you can, it will still hurt. The thing is, apart from the barrel rolls, it's a very good ride, so if they just added some airtime hills there, it would be so much better. At number 24, we have Galactica at Alton Towers. I always worry that my legs are going to fall out of the shin guards in the first drop, but apart from that, it's a pretty fun ride. At number 23, we have Storm Chaser at Bolton's Park. If you get a good spin in it, some of the helixes can be absolutely mental. It's not a short ride either, they packed a lot into a small space, and it's the best ride at Bolton's Park by far. Anyway, moving on to number 22, we have Oblivion the Black Hole at Gardaland. It's quite intimidating at first, but once you get on it, the layout is actually really good, and some of the views you get from the top are absolutely amazing. Number 21 is in the exact same park, and it's Raptor at Gardaland. The station is really cool first of all, and then the drop is steeper than I thought it was going to be. I also love how they film you while you're on the ride, so you can watch your reaction at the end. At number 20, we have the big one at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. While some people call this a fast monorail, I think it's really good. I think the drop is absolutely terrifying, but then the rest of it is actually pretty fun. At number 19, we have Blue Fire at Europa Park. The launch is pretty powerful for a Mack ride, and the rest of it is actually pretty intense. The best bit is easily the barrel roll at the end. That's absolutely crazy. Number 18 is Anubis the Ride at Plopsaland Japan. If you're not ready for the launch, it can really catch you off guard, and the layout is really fast and intense. Moving on to number 17, we have our first one from Thorpe Park, and that is Stealth. With it controversially being the fastest accelerating roller coaster in the world, it is really fun that launch, but also really terrifying. The view from the top is really cool, and then the airtime on the hill afterwards is also great. Number 16 is The Swarm, also at Thorpe Park. The first drop is very unique. It's not like anything I've ever done. One of the best bits is the turn just above the water. It's really intense and pulls a lot of G-forces. At number 15, we're staying in Thorpe Park again. It's Saw the Ride. I love the indoor bit where you just don't know what's going to happen next. Lots of people say it's really rough, this ride, but I only find it rough in one bit, and that's just a pothole under the first drop. At number 14, we're moving away from Thorpe Park now to Parc Asterix in France with Osiris. Osiris is a bit of an unusual invert. It hasn't got the regular inversions that a regular one does. But moving on to number 13, we're going back to Thorpe Park to Nemesis Inferno. Osiris and Nemesis Inferno are very close for me, but I just prefer the forces and the jungle vibes of Nemesis Inferno. For example, the final helix is very, very intense. At number 12, we have Silver Star at Europa Park. With it being the tallest roller coaster I've ever been on, the drop is absolutely mental, and some of the flow-to airtime you get on it is a great sensation. The section after the mid-course is great as well, with the swerves and dips low to the ground. At spot number 11, we have Goliath at Wallaby Holland. Some of the turns on this ride are really intense, and I love how they do it over the water as well. It may be rough, but not rough enough to make me dislike it. We are now in the top 10, and to start off the top 10, we have Icon at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Now this is the opposite of rough. It is possibly the smoothest roller coaster I've ever been on. The floater airtime and laterals that you get on Icon are really fun, but then you have Enzo. Now if you don't know, Enzo are the back seats of Icon, but they're spinning. The only thing is, it is an upcharge attraction, so if you're willing to spend £15, then go ahead. At number 9, we have a ride, which was top of my list last year, but now has moved all the way down to 9th. It's the Smiler at Alton Towers. But the Smiler is still a great ride. Like, the 14 inversions are amazing, the G-forces are really cool, and the indoor bit at the start. It is a tiny bit rough, but it's still a great ride. Number 8 is a ride at the same park, which opened just this year, and it's Nemesis Reborn at Alton Towers. First of all, it's easily the best invert I've ever been on. You can also really tell that they put a lot of effort into the theming in the ride and the queue line, but since I never went on the original Nemesis, I couldn't tell you which one is better. Number 7 is a ride that really surprised me the first time I went on it, and it's Wodan at Europa Park. I'd heard people say it was good, but I didn't think it was going to be this good. The first drop is absolutely mental, and then it just flies through the whole layout. It has a bit of a rattle to it like all Woodies do, but it's still an amazing ride. At number 5, we have Wickerman at Alton Towers. Wickerman and Wodan were so close for me in rankings, but I had to choose Wickerman just because of the theming, and it's a more complete ride experience. Some of the laterals and some of the airtime you get on Wickerman is just out of this world insane. Night rides are the best though, and if you get at the back. I'd say you can definitely notice the difference between further towards the train and further towards the back of the train. Because if you're further towards the train, you sort of slow down on the drops, but if you're at the back, you just get whipped over them. Which is why I prefer the back, but if you get front row and you don't have anyone in front of you, then that is really cool as well. We are now officially in the top 5 roller coasters that I have ever ridden, and at number 5, we have Two Tatis at Park Asterix. Two Tatis is an amazing ride. The launches are amazing, the backwards bit is incredible, and I really do like the 0G stall as well. The ride has a lot of airtime, but also has a lot of forces, like that last barrel roll. It's by far the best Intamin I've ever been on, and one of the best roller coasters I've ever been on, full stop. Number 4 is the UK's best roller coaster, Hyperia at Thorpe Park. This coaster is mental, absolutely mental. The first drop is crazy, and going up that lift hill is one of the scariest things you can do at Thorpe Park. The Immelman whips you over, and then the Outer Banks stall is absolutely crazy. The only problem I have with it are those brakes on the splashdown towards the end, and it doesn't even splash down, so I don't know what the point of it is. Now, at number 3, we have the roller coaster which probably has the most airtime I've ever experienced, and that is Untamed at Wallaby Holland. This is my first and only ever RMC, and it is so good. First time I went in it, I went in the rain, and it was still amazing. My favourite part is definitely the double up, or maybe that crazy inversion at the start. But it's all amazing, so it doesn't matter. Now, we're on to the top 2. Number 2 and number 1 are so close for me, but number 2, I had to go with Ride's Happiness at Plopsalandipan. This ride is just crazy. I can't think of any more synonyms for crazy, so I'm just using the same word over and over again. But it is, and in case you thought it wasn't going to be crazy when you first went on it, they make sure you don't think that within 5 seconds, as soon as you exit the station, you go upside down really slowly into a JoJo roll while spinning, and it's just mental. Then it goes into a spinning launch into a weird top hat thing. Then it goes into a bunch of inversions, all of this while spinning really fast. Then it goes into another launch and does a few more stuff. It goes into more airtime hills, goes into more turns. It's just really fun. I can't think of anything else to say, but it's just so fun. It's hard to put into words how good it is. Also, the theming in the queue line is amazing as well. You go through and it's all steampunk themed, and pretty much the whole queue is themed. So it's just amazing. But enough talking about number 2. On to number 1, and we have Voltron Nevera at Europa Park. This ride, in my opinion, is just the perfect ride. It has amazing theming, amazing elements, amazing capacity. You get in the train so quickly and you just go up the launch so quickly. It's all really well organised. The theming in the queue line is amazing, but once you get into that building where the station is, that's where the theming just gets out of this world. Then the layout is just incredible. It's like launch, airtime hill, beyond vertical launch, then another turn, then another inversion. It's got 7 inversions, a backwards section, and a bunch of launches. It's just crazy. It blew me away the first time I went in it. I was just so shocked at how good it was. The queue moves really quickly as well, so if you're ever at your Ripper Park and it says it's going to be a long queue, just get in it, because it's worth it, and also it will probably move quicker than it says it will. And honestly, I feel like this is what your Ripper Park was missing, like a good standout roller coaster by their own manufacturer, Mack. And now that they have one of those, it's literally one of the best theme parks in the world, I'd say. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. And if you want to leave your thoughts on what the best roller coaster you've ever been on are, then leave it down in the comments. But anyway, Happy New Year, and I'll see you next year.